guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Emma. I don't know if I've said that in the video. Most of y'all know who I am though already. Yeah, so today I thought I would do Monstera genus family collective video of all of the Monsteras that I own personally at the moment. Yeah, so I have a couple of varieties, and then I also have like multiples of certain varieties, so I'll probably only show you like some of the plants. Like if it's like I have, I think, 2 Monstera adensoni, and then like a million cuttings of it growing, propagating. I'll probably just show you a smaller plant, because the ones that I do have, they're growing at poles and they're quite large. Same with like the Monstera deliciosa. Like I'll probably just show you this one, even though I have several in my house, including another large one in my dining room, and then a bunch of small ones too upstairs. Yeah, and then I have a few different varieties, some variegated, some not variegated, some dying, some thriving. Probably throw in a little bit of care tips in there, but I mean, like I said, some of them are thriving and some of them are dying, so take it with what you want. Yeah, so let's just get into it. Okay, so this is one of my Monstera deliciosa plants. This plant is doing okay. It is a little thirsty and it does need some fertilizer. I will be making a video about fertilizing houseplants because I am I'm slightly terrified of fertilizer, which might sound odd since I do have so many plants, but I really don't fertilize my plants that often, or if ever. But this plant is in need of some fertilizer, so I'm going to venture out, I guess. You see kind of those dark green veins, that discoloration. Yeah, that's not supposed to be like that. I have it here in my living room. This window here is a north-facing window, and this window over here is an east-facing window. So it gets a great morning light. That's kind of why this middle leaf here is kind of more turned that way, because it's like in the morning light. It's completely dried out. I probably let it go too far, but I kind of lean towards the underwatering of plants than the overwatering of plants, because that should be another video. It's kind of easier to bring back a plant from drought than to bring back a plant from rot, in my opinion. But yeah, so I have it growing up. Actually, this is how I bought it exactly, but it's growing up stake, a wooden trellis type of thing. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. It doesn't get extra humidity. And even right now, during the winter time, right now, my hygrometer says 22% humidity, which is super, super, super low. Super, super, super low, which is not necessarily bad, good, or whatever, but obviously they're all tropical plants. They like, you know, regular humidity temperatures. You know, normally they generally say like nothing below 35% and your houseplant will be happy. I should just, you know, fill up my humidifiers. That's the key here. Fill up your humidifiers, guys. Pause the video and fill it up right now. Okay, so I do have another more common variety of Monstera that I grow in my home. I do just have a small little cutting of it because it's just easier to show you guys. Instead of dragging over one of my big plants or taking you to my big plants, just easier to show you a smaller plant. But yeah, so this is Monstera adensoni cutting of the wide form variety. So there are several different kinds of Monstera adensoni vines or Swiss cheese vines. There's many different varieties of the specific plant. There's like the narrow form, there's the wide form, there's the regular, there's something that starts with an F. Can't think of it now. But yeah, so this is the plant up close. The common name for this is like the Swiss cheese vine because it has the holes, but I just call it Monstera adensoni because that's what it is. Yeah, and I did like a propagation wall area thing, and these little vessels I just got off of Amazon, and then I just put hot glue to hold them in the thing so they don't slide out the bottom. And these are the roots. They're easy propagators. Again, you just need the node, and you really don't even need a leaf, but a leaf helps with the photosynthesizing. So yeah, this is a Monstera adensoni. Like I said, I have this one kind of getting just ambient light. It's not getting direct light at all in the morning or in the afternoon. But I do have one in my living room, which is like, 4 feet away from a north-facing window and 6 feet away from east-facing window, so it doesn't really get that much direct light either, and it does fine. I have one upstairs in my bedroom that practically just gets, it's just right in a north-facing window, and that's pretty much all it gets, and it still grows beautiful leaves. So I would say these are more of a low light plant for sure, or they can do fine in a lower light situation. Again, I don't have any humidifiers going at the moment, so I wouldn't say that it needs high humidity by any means. Yeah, and again, I don't fertilize my plants, so I don't have that to talk about, but I will be making a video about fertilizing house plants. But yeah, this is a cutting of my Monstera adensoni. It's a super easy propagator. Like I said, I have a lot of cuttings growing in water and in my prop box with spag. So yeah. And the roots again. So this one I just watered, so it kind of looks a little sad. But this is Monstera stiltopicana. Like I said, this is also a vining plant, or you can grow it up a trellis, whatever you want to do. I received this plant from Steve's Leaves a couple months back. I do think I got a little bit of cold damage here. You can see that browning and, I mean, some dead leaves. But yeah, this is a super beautiful plant. The leaves are kind of like a silvery, they have some silver colors and then some dark veins, so that's really nice. The newer growth that's grown for me is not very silver at all, so I'm not really sure if the silver like comes in after the mature, or after the leaves harden off, or if I'm giving it too much light and it's kind of bleaching out. I don't know, because I do have it right here. I mean, it's kind of tucked away from some other plants, but it is getting bright morning light for sure. Like I said, I haven't had this plant for super long, but I would say it's a pretty easy care plant. I mean, I would say it's much thirstier than my other Monsteras. Like, I'm definitely watering this a lot more often than my other Monsteras. Yeah, but this is a super beautiful plant. Like I said, I did get it online, so sometimes they take a little bit more time to adjust to being in a new environment, which is fine. I do have a cutting of this growing in upstairs in my prop box in sphagnum moss, and it rooted right away for me in sphagnum, so I can say it is pretty easy propagator. I haven't tried propagating it in water. I've only tried propagating it in sphagnum moss, so I'm not sure if that has anything to do with the higher humidities in the prop box. But yeah, this is her. And she did come with this long trail, so that's really nice. And then the other cutting I have is from I got from somebody else, so. Yes, this is Monstera Collection. This one I have in water, nasty water. I need to change it, but you know. Yes, and there is a couple other plants in here, so just ignore that. Okay, so these leaves here, this is the plant I'm talking about. This is a Monstera crap. What is it called? I don't know. I can't think of what it's called. The name has lost my mind, but I will put the name on the screen. Yeah. So this plant I did get as an import a while back, and I just have left it in water, which probably isn't necessarily the smartest thing to do, but it's growing, and I mean, it's happy. There's a lot of variegation on some of these leaves. This one has some on the back here. Crap, what is this plant called? I can't remember. I can't think of it. But yeah, so I do just have this plant growing in just straight hydro, so I don't have much advice on actually growing this plant. Again, it's in the same room. It has low humidity, but it is surrounded by water, so this plant definitely does get more humidity than like the rest of my plants do, just from evaporation. Yeah. Okay. So this is one of my Monstera Constellations. When I received this plant in the mail, probably 2 years ago now, it had 6 leaves. I believe it had 6 leaves. And then this one grew in my care just over this winter. It is kind of wonky, but I mean, it finally grew for me, so shouldn't complain that much. This plant has been through a lot. It has fallen, it has snapped leaves off, it has had root rot, it has dried out, it has been through a lot and is still here, so it's a pretty cool plant. I should honestly cut this up, but who knows. So this is the leaf. Let's see if I can show you. This is the leaf that unfurled for me this year. It has quite a lot of that variegation, so that is really awesome. Normally Thai constellations are more like constellations, like more like speckly and whatever, and then sometimes you get some big splotches, but not that often. These 3 leaves were original to the plant, and they survived all of the damage I caused them. This one was probably my favorite leaf. It is still kind of my favorite leaf. This whole section that has brown here, this was a whole fenestration that was all white or all cream, and when I had root rot, it all melted off. So that's kind of a bummer, but the leaf is still there. So yeah, and some of these bottom leaves are kind of wonky. They've just never fully straightened out after shipping, but that is okay. And I have it in a blue pot because one of the reasons it fell off the shelf is that I didn't have it in a cover pot, and then it was super top heavy and it just flew off the shelf. So I put it in this big pot because I still just have it in the nursery, in a nursery pot, because it just makes me feel better. But yeah, so this is my first ever Thai Constellation. Not really. This is my first ever full plant of Thai Constellation that I bought. I did buy a unrooted one leaf cutting and it rotted, so that sucked. But yeah, I got this plant I think 2 years ago now, and I'm really glad that I took the leap when I did, because then I thought, oh my god, I've never spent this much money on anything, let alone a freaking plant. But now this plant would be like $400, $500, $600, depending on who you bought it from, or an auction, or what. So, and especially with the amount of leaves it came with originally, like I said, I had like 6 or 7 leaves, and I mean, who knows how much that would have been now, or that would be now. But yeah, so this is one of my Thai Constellations. I'll grab the other one here. So this is my other Thai Constellation. I received this early 2020. I bought it on Facebook site. And I think I paid $170 for this, which is a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot of money for, I mean, any hobby. I did only have 3 leaves when I got it, but that leaf, this is the newest leaf that's grown in my care. And then there was a leaf down here that after this leaf came off, it was just like, I'm done, and died. So yeah. But when I originally got it, it had 3 leaves. Like I said, this leaf grew in my care. Very beautiful plant. Like, obviously, if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. They're supposed to be coming out with the Trending Tropicals collection off of Costa Farms. It was supposed to be 2020, and then they're like, oh, COVID happened, so, you know, our plants weren't growing. I'm not really sure what happened with that, but then they switched it to 2021, so hopefully sometime this year they come out with these in their Trending Topical collections. I mean, I'm sure at first, like, everyone that sees one will buy them all at the store and then sell them for an absurd amount of money on Facebook, because that's just how every rare plant comes out into the world, and then like 6 months after that they're $5, you know. So just be patient unless you really need it and have the money. But yeah, so this plant I do have in Leca. It needs water severely right now. This plant, I do think it's getting a little bit of cold damage from being too close to the window, because I don't see any bugs on it or anything, but this leaf is going to die. This leaf is dying. But these leaves are firm and beautiful. And then this leaf here. Yes, so this is my other Thai Constellation. Beautiful plants. Okay, let's do this super, super sad one. Let me rip off some dead leaves. So, God, this is a dirty plant. I need to clean my plants. Dirty. Okay, so this is a Monstera Peru. I bought it from a shop in our greenhouse in Des Moines. This guy hates me, and I don't know how to make it love me again. Yes, it is super dirty. That could be one thing I could do to make it a little bit happier. I don't know what that is. Super quick, and they all were super sad. Like, they all looked like this or like this, where it's just, I don't know if I was overwatering it or underwatering it, or not getting enough humidity, or not giving it enough light, or too much light. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet, but it is trying to push out a new leaf here. It doesn't look the happiest. It looks kind of orangey on top and kind of rotted in the sheath. I don't know if you can see that black, but it looks already kind of starting to rot. So yeah, if you have this plant and you have any tips or tricks, please put them in the comments or DM me on Instagram, because I just don't know how to keep it happy. It does need water right now. So maybe I let it dry out too much, because I let it dry until the leaves start to curl. I don't know, but if you can let me know, let me know. Okay, my last and saddest Monstera in my collection, I think, is this guy. So this is a Monstera Bozzigiana, small form, variegated Monstera, or whatever you want to call it. I received this, I don't know, maybe at the beginning of 2020 or maybe 2019. Now I can't remember. And it had 4 leaves on it, I think. 3 or 4 leaves on it. I have a picture on my Instagram somewhere. And it was beautiful, healthy cutting, no rot, nothing. It had long aerial roots, stuck it in water, rooting hormone, you know, pampered it, right? Because this is an expensive plant. I mean, not as expensive as they are now, because like I said, I did get this like about at least a year ago, so it was much cheaper than they are now, for sure. I mean, now you get like 1 node with no leaf for how much I paid for this plant, which is just crazy. Another reason why it's such a sad story. Okay, so I have it in this cup, just in water. Okay, stuck it in water. It grew all these water roots. Beautiful. Then I made the mistake, because I didn't even know what leca was at this time. And I potted it up in just a regular, you know, houseplant soil mix. And it got root rot, or the water roots just didn't like the transition or something, and they all died back. Started having yellowing leaves like this, started falling off. Yes, so this is what I have left. This was all new roots. Everything here was beautiful, healthy roots. Because for the longest time this leaf was fine, it just didn't have any roots. And now the stem is starting to shrivel, and the last leaf is starting to die. So that's what I think I might do, is cut it up and try to root it in sphagnum. I don't know. So yeah, wish me luck with this plant. I'm pretty bummed about it, because I'll probably never buy a new one, because the prices are just insane. Sorry, there's a bunch of birds in my tree. Comment any care tips or any ways you can think of saving this plant, or what you've tried in the past and has worked or failed for you. I would love to hear your experiences. If you guys could like and subscribe, and since you made it to this point, you've obviously watched the video all the way through, thank you so much. That really helps me out on the channel. If you have any request videos, leave them in the comments or DM me on... Sorry, I'm watching the birds. They're just going crazy out there. What are they even doing here? It's January. Go home. Wait, is February? It might be February. Might be February. I don't know what today is. But yeah, so if you have any request videos or anything you want to see or hear about, I am going to be making a fertilizer video. That might take some more time to get the whole thing complete, but I do have a lot of plants that I need to pot up. So if you want to see that in a video, let me know. It's probably going to be mostly leca because dirt kind of freaks me out, obviously. I just feel like I can better control the plant's roots with leca than dirt, and you know what's going on exactly. So yeah, I hope this isn't super rambly video, and I will see you in my next video, guys. The finger guns might be my new thing. Pew pew.